Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatan Sahagana Raghunathan Nikantam Sakivam Sadaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanitanscha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Pancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhuvaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnava जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासुदेव गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे करति वाजानं कंगुलंघाय भक्त्वातमहं वन्दे श्री Hare Krishna. So we welcome all the devotees for our ongoing and I think almost the Bhakti Shastri course. We are at the last class of the unit 4, Nectar of Devotion. So today we will complete the unit 4. So and the last section is Bhava Bhakti and the last class is on Bhava Bhakti and Prema Bhakti. So this has been briefly described in Srila Prabhupada Nectar of Devotion book. So the Bhava Bhakti and Prema Bhakti, these are very exalted topics, 17, 18, 19, the 3 chapters are there. So here one question will come, that is, what is the Lakshmana? What are the characteristics of Bhava Bhakti? What are the person, a devotee who is in Bhava Bhakti? What are the characteristics he revealed? So that will come. Is my screen visible to all of you?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes. So you can start reading from here, someone, by the process of executing regulated devotional service.
Bhakti Prabhuji. Ecstatic love. By the process of executing regulated devotional service, one is actually elevated to the transcendental stage, beyond the material modes of nature. At that time, one's heart becomes illuminated like the sun. The sun is far above the planetary systems, and there is no possibility of being covered by any kind of cloud. Similarly, when a devotee is purified like the sun from his pure heart, there is diffusion of ecstatic love, which is more glorious than the sunshine. Only at the time is this attachment to Krishna perfect. Spontaneously, the devotee becomes eager to serve the Lord in his ecstatic love. At this stage, the devotee is on the platform of Uttam Adhikari, perfect devotion. Such a devoted devotee has no agitation from the material affections and is interested only in the service of Radha and Krishna.
Yes. So here the Bhava Bhakti, what is this Bhava Bhakti? Bhava Bhakti is the preliminary state of Prema Bhakti. So initially we have started the Bhakti Bheda, this entire section, this entire Purva Vibhag, that the eastern side of the ocean of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. we were discussing the Bhakti Bheda. From chapter 1 to chapter 19, we were describing only Bhakti Bheda. What are the different types of Bhakti? So, in that discussion, we have started with the Samanna Bhakti, and then we have seen the divisions of the various Bhakti. That is, Bhakti, we define what is the definition of the Bhakti with the Gauna Lakshan, with the primary characteristic and secondary characteristics. And then we have seen the what is the six characteristics of pure devotional service. Okay, first we define Bhakti, Samanna Bhakti, and then from there we describe the six features of pure devotional service. And now we are and then we discussed elaborately about sadhana bhakti, various aspects of sadhana bhakti. And sadhana bhakti, we have seen there are two categories. One is Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, another is Raganuga sadhana bhakti. And in the Raganuga sadhana bhakti, we have seen the overview of the Raganuga sadhana bhakti. There is basically a two track to reach the prema to reach the next stage, that is the bhava bhakti and prema bhakti. By Raganuga path also we can reach Bhava Bhakti. By Sadhana Bhakti also, by Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti also we can reach to Bhava Bhakti and onwards. So this till now we have discussed this. So now here we are discussing the part Bhava Bhakti. Bhava Bhakti means the preliminary state of Prema Bhakti. Preliminary state of Prema Bhakti. Now this what is the cause of Bhava Bhakti? Bhava Bhakti, the cause of Bhava Bhakti is Sadhana Bhakti and Krishna Tad Bhakta Prasad. Okay. One is Sadhana, Sadhan Siddha. We have heard, Prabhupada also, if you heard Prabhupada lectures, Prabhupada used to say that there are two categories of devotees. Three categories, Nitya Siddha and Nitya Baddha. And the Nitya Baddha, there are two categories. One is Sadhan Siddha. This Nitya Baddha can become also Nitya Siddha. How they can become Nitya Siddha? They can become Nitya Siddha either by Sadhana Siddha or by Kripa Siddha. Okay, so similarly, this Bhava Bhakti is also defined as Sadhana Siddha and Kripa Siddha. The Sadhana Siddha means in the process of sadhana there are two parts, Vaidhi sadhana and Raganuga sadhana. So one can reach to Bhava by sadhana, okay, and that sadhana can be by Vaidhi sadhana and can be by Raganuga sadhana. And another path is by Kripa, Krishna Tad Bhaktaya Prasada, and that also have two different category. Krishna Prasada Mercy, Krishna Prasada Mercy, Krishna Prasada, that is the by the mercy of Krishna, by the word and glance of the wishes, and Bhakta Prasada Mercy. Okay. So there is Kripa Siddhi can be attained directly by Krishna or directly by Bhakta. So this is a brief overview of what is the sadhana bhakti, and then the qualities of sadhana bhakti. Okay, so this we will describe the quality. These qualities actually will come. This is one thing will obviously come. That is the qualities. Okay. These qualities will come. Khanti or Abhyartha Kalattam, Virakti, Manashunnata, that we will describe. And then there is a yes. So up to this we will see, and then we will describe. And today I have read very interesting thing that also I will describe. That is Prabhupada has written. I don't know whether this will be mentioned here or not. I cannot remember. So, what is the symptom that someone has already reached to Bhava? Okay, I was reading one from Prabhupada, one book, Teachings of Chaitanya. So there I got it. So I will share it. Please make me remember. Remind me if I forget it. Okay. So this is a so what here Prabhupada is telling. Prabhupada is telling that at this stage there is no tinge of material. Almost there is no tinge of material. The essence of bhava is Shambhit and Ahladini. What does it mean? Shambhit and Ahladini. Shambhit means there is three categories of internal potency. Internal potency is described is divided into three categories: Shambhit Shakti, Sandhini Shakti, and Ahladini Shakti. The Shambhit Shakti is the knowledge, and the Ahladini Shakti is the pleasure giving potency. So this is how Rupa Goswami defined. I'm not reading the Sanskrit definition, but I'm just reading the. Let me see. It's there in my slide. Show you that thing. Yes. So these we all know that this is the stages of bhakti. Adho Shraddha to Krishna Prem. This is there. So what is the cause of bhakti? Cause of bhakti, Lord's mastery, Shubha Karma, and devotees' causeless mercy. This we have already discussed. So stages of path of devotional service. So uh, this is actually the Anarthanibriti stage. Okay. This is the Anarthanibriti. So there are 9 stages. So this is the Adho Shraddha, and then Bhajana Kriya, and then Anarthanibriti. This is the most steep path. And then this 4 is the Nishtha, the 5th is the Ruchi, 6 is the Ashakti, sorry, Shraddha, Shraddha, Sadhusanga, Bhajana Kriya, Anarthanibritti, then Nishtha, then Ruchi, then Ashakti. So after Ashakti, after coming to Nishtha, it is very easy gliding. Riding of this, see, this bicycle rider need to only, this is stiff, this is also is okay up to Sadhu Sangha, up to Bhajana Kriya. After Bhajana Kriya, the life becomes very difficult because the Anarthanibritti part started. Okay. So and after Ashakti stage, it is very easy. Okay. So Adho Shraddha, this has been described. Adho Shraddha. Okay, let us see. So these are the 6 things. So let us first, we will read this thing. Yeah. So the Uttamodhikari, so now one thing, at this stage the devotee is on the platform of Uttamodhikari. Now, this Uttamodhikari is not the Uttamodhikari that we have discussed uh, earlier in context to the qualification of Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. There also we have discussed 3 kinds of Adhikari, but they are in context to Vaidhi Sadhan Bhakti Adhikari, who can be the Adhikari for Vaidhi Sadhan Bhakti. And this is another type of Uttam Adhikari in context to the attaining the perfection. And regarding these, actually, the Bhagavatam has described Uttam Adhikari. It is actually, instead of Uttam Adhikari, it is actually, it is Uttam Bhaktum in one sense. Okay. Uttam Adhikari means like that he is perfected. So that these terms are little bit, there is very thin line different depending upon the context where the words or terminologies are used. Okay. So Bhagavatam has defined Uttamodhikari in a little different way, and Rupa Goswami has defined Uttamodhikari first of all in that context in a different way. So this is what Prabhupada is writing, that at this stage, that means when at the after executing regulative devotional service, one is actually elevated to the transcendental stage beyond the material modes of nature. So that means at this stage only he can overcome the material modes of nature. That is Sagunan Samutti Taitan Brahma Bhuaya Kalpata. Abhyabhichari Bhakti. This is the time where he is completely engaging in that stage. Okay. He is actually engaging, but the point is, see, all the stages are pure devotional service. Okay. He need to execute pure devotional service. We have described, I don't know whether I have shared that screenshot or not. Uh, you can take a screenshot of that thing so you remember it very clearly. Let me check. Yes. See, see, this is when one is at sadhana bhakti stage. The this is the six characteristics of pure devotional service. We have the Shubhoda, Kleshagni, Moksha Lobhata, Krit, Shudru Lobhata, Sri Krishna Akarshan, and Chandra Atma Viva. But these characteristics will not reveal all of a sudden at the very preliminary stage. But even though it is not revealed, but this bhakta, this sadhaka has to perform pure devotional service. That means the tatastha lakshan, that is the gauna lakshan, need to be fulfilled. Otherwise, this onward journey will not happen. He will not able to progress from sadhan bhakti to prema bhakti. So this is also pure devotional service. Okay. At this stage, at this stage, this sadhana bhakta can be Konishta Adhikari also. But he is also doing pure devotional service, as we have discussed. Otherwise, this Shubhoda and Kleshagni will also not reveal. Okay. If he is mixed devotee, that means Karomishra Bhakti, Gyanamishra Bhakti, uh, that means those time Jogomishra Bhakti, then these things will not fully reveal. Okay. So at Sadhana Bhakti stage also you have to start pure devotional service. But what is the difference? The difference is the intensity of absorption. The main difference is intensity of the absorption. That is the difference, that at the sadhana bhakta stage, his absorption is not intensified. His attachment towards Krishna is not intensified because he has some anartha. His anartha is there, cloud is there. In between Krishna and the living entity, there is a cloud of anartha. But more the cloud is removed, more he progress. But for removing that cloud, he need to perform pure devotional service. Then only slowly the cloud will be removed and Shubhada, Kleshagni, after that Moksha Laghutakrit, Shudullabhata, and then Sri Krishna. So now we are at the stage of Bhava Bhakti. That means at that stage also something is not yet revealed. Cloud has been removed, almost removed, almost removed, almost. But then also something is yet to be done at Prema Bhakti stage. So this is also, so the process is not at one, from one point of view it appears to be very difficult. But if we have full faith on the words of spiritual master and we execute as the process has been given, then the day will come, that day will come very soon when the cloud of our anartha will be completely removed and we can come to this stage. So here, this is what actually Srila Prabhupada is telling, that the sun is far above planetary system and there is no possibility to be covered with the clouds. Similarly, when the devotee purified like the sun from his pure heart, there is a diffusion of ecstatic love which is more glorious than sunshine. Only at that time is the attachment to Krishna perfect. This is the point. Spontaneously, the devotee becomes eager to serve the Lord in his ecstatic love. So, till now, at Sadhana Bhakti stage, we were depending on Shastra, was there. Maybe in Rupanuga Sadhan Bhakti, Rupanuga means in Raganuga Sadhan Bhakti, the dependence is less, but it was there. We are not, we are in no case the Shastra and the spiritual master's instruction dependence on that is there. That as he has instructed me, so I will execute in that. Maybe in Raganuga Sadhan Bhakti, it is the spontaneous attraction is more prominent at that stage, because that is depending upon his previous performance, or uh, by the association of some pure devotee. Okay, by two way it can happen, that he develops a spontaneous, he develop an attraction for the ragatmika devotees. So that is the Raganuga form. Otherwise, for us, it is like a Sadhan Bhakti. We are advancing in the Sadhan Bhakti, Vaidhi Sadhan Bhakti, where the Vidhi is informed, regulation, rules and regulations is there, and based on that, rules and regulation we are following based on the instruction of our spiritual master. Okay. So that is how we are coming to this stage. At this stage, the devotee is on the platform of Uttomadhikari, perfect. Devotion. Such devotee has no agitation from material affection and is interested only in the service of Radha and Krishna. Such a devotee has no agitation. Okay. No agitation from material affection. Okay. So we can read from this to clarify the previous chapters. Provisions.
To
Yes,
clarify,
sir.
sorry.
To clarify, in the previous chapters, the symptoms of devotional service were explained along with instructions as to how we may execute devotional service with our present senses and gradually rise to the platform of ecstasy in spontaneous love. And the two kinds of devotional service, namely devotional service through regulative principles and through spontaneous love, were discussed. Within the stage of the regulative principles of devotional service, there are two divisions, namely executive and effective. This effective portion of devotional service is called bhava or ecstasy. In this connection, there is a statement in the Tantras that ecstasy is the first symptom of pure love for the personality of Godhead. And in that stage, one is sometimes found shedding tears or shivering. Not always are these symptoms manifest, but occasionally. When King Ambarisha was put into difficulty by Durvasa, he began to think of the lotus feet of the Lord, and thus there were some changes in his body, and tears were falling from his eyes. These symptoms are activities of ecstasy. They are visible in the shivering of the body and the shedding of tears. After the outward appearance of these ecstatic symptoms, they stay within the mind, and continuation of the ecstasy is called samadhi. This stage of appreciation becomes the cause of future exchanges of loving affairs with Krishna.
Yes. So we are understanding that even though it is actually this part is not, and it is beyond our realization, maybe we cannot exactly understanding, may not realize what is actually the things are uh, described. What does it mean of aesthetic attachment? What does it mean of shedding the tears, shivering of the body? We may not have this, we may not have this kind of experience right now because we are at sadhana bhakti stage, so it's a little difficult to understand, but we should, from by reading we can understand that it is very exalted position, exalted stage of devotion service. So what, as a sadhaka, what we can aspire that what shall be our aspiration. Our aspiration is that I don't have any qualification, I am trying my level best under the guidance of my spiritual authorities, and let me let me do it as purely as possible. Let me do it without any ulterior motives, because if I really want to go, there is far exalted positions are awaiting in my journey towards my perfection of Krishna prem, towards my perfection of my Krishna consciousness. So if that perfection, something, sometimes we think that we have already attained whatever to be attained, and there we become complacent, and we become little, uh, what I can say, self-satisfied that yes, enough is enough. We are following for regulative principles. We are got a first initiation, second initiation. We are attending classes regularly. We have got a very senior position in the congregation of the devotees. Everyone is respecting me. So I have passed 15, 20 years. So it is done. I have done many services. Uh, so it is enough, is enough. And like this, I will spend my life. So this should not be this. So by reading this thing, we should understand that have we come to this stage? Because if we actually understand what does it mean, so that's why the name is given Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Sindhu means it is the ocean, and in that situation we should understand that there are so many exalted devotees. For them they are describing that. For see this Ambarish Maharaj example, what here Goswami is giving and Srila Prabhupada is quoting. There also it is not that he a particular situation. At that situation, Ambarish Maharaj was manifesting some features of ecstatic love. Not that every time. So this is one characteristic of Bhava Bhakti, that the ecstatic symptoms are not manifested continuously. Not always are there, but occasionally. So that means Ambarish Maharaj is not even at Krishna Prema stage, but he is so exalted. We are studying about his life, about his devotional service in Bhagavatam, but then also he is not in Krishna Prema stage. So from this we can understand where we are, and this should make us more humble. That we are nowhere. We were at even are we need to question ourselves, have we come to the stage of even Kanishta Adhikari? Have we come to the stage of Shraddha even? What kind of Shraddha we have? Okay, how far we have the Shraddha? Even though we are doing Sadhu Sangha, whether we have come to the Nishtha stage. Nishtha means coming to Nishtha. Shraddha to Nishtha, this is a very big journey, great journey. Okay, so we should introspect ourselves by reading this kind of description. So that's why Srila Prabhupada has been instructed. Actually, Srila Prabhupada has been instructed by Srila Bhaktivinoda Saraswati Thakur. We have discussed after the initiation. Bhaktivinoda Saraswati Thakur said that you should study Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu very nicely. As Srila Prabhupada has also told repeatedly that you should repeatedly study, because by repeatedly study we can understand where we are in our journey towards perfecting our Krishna consciousness. Are we progressing? Really progressing? Or we are stagnant? Why we are stagnant? Where I am committing mistake? How can I rectify it? And how can I go forward? And this should make us humble. How far I have become humble? How I am dealing with the devotees? How I am thinking about myself? So all this introspection should happen after reading this thing. How much I am absorbed in Krishna consciousness. At least during chanting, during hearing, during reading, during associating with the devotees. If not always. How far we are, when we are at least doing the devotional service directly, at that time, how far we are. That will make or break where we are going. How far, how much, how when we will be successful. So this introspection is that for this reason we may not be at this stage, but this understanding should be very clear that we need to go far ahead. So many things are yet to be revealed, and that revelation will actually make our heart so much overwhelmed and will attract us towards performing devotional service in such a way that then there will not be any distraction, any scope of material agitation in our heart. Then the cloud will be removed and the sunshine will be visible, the sunshine of Krishna Prem. Actually, the Bhava Bhakti is defined here that the essence of Bhava is Shambhit and Alat, the complete knowledge. The knowledge is very clear. What is the knowledge? I am Krishna's part and parcel. Krishna and I will say, but today I was reading that thing that one knowledge is Krishna's holy name and Krishna is non-different. So Prabhupada is writing in Nectar in teachings of Lord Chaitanya that at Bhava stage it is revealed. I will show you here. This I was reading from Vedaves. This is the Namamrita Grantha book. The Bhava results from understanding that Krishna's personal name are identical. The transcendental ecstatic attachment for Krishna, which results from perfectly understanding this is Shambhit. Perfectly understanding that Krishna's person and name are identical is called Bhava. What a different kind of definition altogether has been given. So I will put it in the chat in the this thing, so you can take a note of it. Okay, so I have sent or not. So this is another. So this is Shambhit, and then the Ahladini. Ahladini is a bliss. So one who has attained bhava is suddenly not contaminated by material desire. He actually enjoys transcendental pleasure. This is bliss. This transcendental pleasure can only come from Devi Prakriti Masrita. There is Ahladini Shakti. Is completely, we are, see, entire Bhakti, journey of Bhakti is under Devi Prakriti Masrita, but in that, the revelation happens. Revelation happens is in this stage from Bhava. And when Bhava is intensified, it is called love of God. But Chaitanya told Prakashananda Saraswati that the holy name of Krishna, called the Maha Mantra, great chanting, enables anyone who chants it to attain the stage of love of God or intensified Bhava. So that means Krishna Prem can be attained by chanting, simply by chanting, without taking any other process, without knowing our spiritual identity, which were revealed in Chitta Pranali. Not required. It was there, but not very authorized by our acharyas. That's why Srila Prabhupada never recommended. See, if you hear, I was reading from Bhagavad Darshan, one article in May, in the month of May. So in that article, Bhagavad Darshan, Prabhupada, every time, every month, when this magazine is published, one article from Srila Prabhupada lecture will be published. So what lecture Srila Prabhupada was giving? Srila Prabhupada was giving that we are not body, we are soul. This is very difficult to understand. So that means how far it is difficult to understand or completely, perfectly understand that Krishna and Krishna's name is non-different. And this is where we are lacking in our chanting. That's why many times it is said that a devotee, a Krishna devotee, a practicing Krishna devotee, who is chanting Srila Prabhupada Pranam Mantra, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine, that kind of acharya is there under which we are performing devotional service, who is our preeminent acharya. We are so much against impersonalism, but we become impersonalist, victim of impersonalism when we start chanting. Because we treat Maha Mantra simply like a material sound vibration. And that's why we become indifferent, we fall asleep, we chit chat, we do multitasking, we do what not. Okay. And we take chanting so casually. We can chant anywhere. We think it is just a ritual, just a thing I need to do. But this is where, based on this realization, our entire perfection is depending. Our perfection in Krishna consciousness is depending on this one understanding that Krishna and Krishna's name is non-different. Whatever we are doing, whatever festival we are doing, whatever activity we are doing, whatever service we are doing, Uh, if we are not coming to this understanding, it is very difficult. So we may do anything, but whether we are coming to this, all the other things are given so that we can come to this point of understanding. But we are getting busy in so much in other things that unfortunately, or sometimes, see, sometimes we can understand due to some days can be difficult. Some days can be difficult. That is okay, completely okay. Some days can be difficult to chant properly, to do things, but it should not be a regular thing. Like the day after the day Janmashtami day. Okay, unfortunately, that is the proper appearance day. But on that day, we become so tired, we may maximum devotees missed Mangalarati. Okay, due to the Janmashtami. Well, that is okay, but and we attend maybe Darshanarati or maybe directly to Prabhupada's Bash Puja celebration. We go after chanting something. So that one day is also important, but this kind of occasional little bit here and there is okay. But if we are in such a daily schedule where this chanting is compromised, the quality of chanting is compromised, then what is the hope in our progression of Krishna consciousness? So we need to work on this because so many things depending on this. Okay, so so this chapter, the discussion, today's discussion will be based on that only. There is nothing to we can actually relate maybe because we are not in this stage. Okay, at least myself. Hmm. So we maybe this will be little theoretical understanding, but this theoretical understanding should give a spiritual aspiration, should give a goal where we need to go. I am now at this stage. So this thing I am just focusing on that part. Otherwise, these things are just information. For us, we may not do it, or we should may not experience. We don't have experiential realization about all these things. Yes. So the overviews are also described here. Prabhupada is describing overviews, and then already I have described the overview, Bhava Bhakti. So let me just read the definition. The Bhava is the essence of Bhava is the Shambhit and Ahladini. We understand what is the Shambhit and Ahladini, what understanding we should be having. Bhava is a ray of sun of prema, which will soon rise in the heart. Okay. Soon rise in the heart. Okay. Just as the sun appears soon after the light of dawn, prema appears soon after the happiness of bhava. Bhava is like a ray of the sun of prema. Okay. Just like when the sun, before sunrise, the light is there. Okay. So that light or sun ray, little bit sun rays is there. That is called bhava. So bhava is the ray of the sun of prema, which will soon rise in the heart. Bhava softens the heart with desires for attaining Krishna, pleasing Krishna, and be friendly with Krishna. Such bhakti is called bhava or rati. Okay. So at this stage, our heart become very soft, and that's why this kind of symptoms can be revealed. Tears coming out, shivering of the bodies are happening. Ashtashatik because happen when our hearts become very soft. That's why by Jnana Marg, our heart becomes very hard-hearted. And even in Bhakti Marg, in Bhakti and Mukti, both the cases heart become very harsh. More in Jnana Marg. So that's why the softness is very important. How much we are chanting softly, how much we are, and our heart is becoming softened by chanting the holy name. So it is not that chanting. See, initially I have seen myself that initially when I need to chant, it was very a great struggle, and that struggle need to be done. Sometimes I was worried about that. I was taking so much time. So then one devotee said, "It is okay. You have just started uh, devotional service, just started chanting. It is okay to have taking some time." So, but slowly, gradually, the smoothness swiftness of chanting or executing anything should increase, and the heart becomes not very see, we have to very rigidly follow the rules and regulation, but that rigid following should make our heart soften. The point is, the rigid following should not make our heart hard. Sometimes we become following in rules and regulation in so rigidly that we make our heart very hard-hearted. And that is actually we will study in Nectar of Instruction. That is called Niyamagraha. Niyamagraha means too much attachment in the following the rules and regulation without understanding the essence. The essence is to remember Krishna. So that is the thing. When the heart is softened, we can remember, and the desire will come automatically, spontaneously. The desire will come. Desire will come. A taste will develop that I want to serve. I was telling that whether chanting session is a one to session. I want to do this chanting session, or it is have to do. I have to complete. So this is actually in our mind, in the core of our mind. We know how I am appreciating this chanting. No one is there in between me and my chanting. No one is there. Guru has given instruction. Now I have to take the flight. The flight pilots are given all the instruction at the ground. Now we have to fly our flight. So when we are chanting based on our appreciation with holy name. All the instructions, all the trainings has been given by all the mercy is given to us. Yes. Now we have to fly the flight. No one is there actually at that time. Our journey is alone. Today only I was hearing one Mataji who left body yesterday 12 o'clock in the night. So she has some desire, and Krishna has fulfilled. She has the desire to leave his body. She is just a simple Mataji doing service in the background. No one knows her. No one, not a famous devotee, not a big preacher, nothing. But how wonderfully she left her body. So that is the point. Simplicity of the devotee's heart is important. We need not to be a very famous or popular devotee. It is nothing. It's a very simple devotee. She had two desire. She had the desire that she leave her body in Vrindavan, and she wanted to meet with her spiritual master before she leave his body. And wonderfully, by the mercy of Krishna and Krishna's devotees, both her desires were fulfilled. So she was living in Delhi. She has to taken to Vrindavan hospice, and in Vrindavan, her spiritual master was Bhakti Vaishnav Sai Maharaj, and he was happened to be there. He was not able to meet in Delhi because Maharaj was having other schedules, and Mataji was very weak. Her health was not good, so she could not go to attend her spiritual master lectures or program anywhere. But when she was at deathbed, spiritual master had come to visit her. Just see the arrangement of Krishna. So I was thinking that at that last moment of our life, there is only Krishna and Krishna's devotees. No one are there. Nothing. Our bank balance, our influence, our popularity, our fan following, nothing will be material at that stage. No one will be there. No one can help anyway. Only spiritual master, devotee, and Krishna. So that is the moment. For that moment we are preparing. That is our last examination. So how much softness is required to deal with the with the devotees and with Krishna? So the unearthers had the contamination which is from time immemorial has made our heart hard-hearted. So this hard-heartedness is due to the unearthers. So we have to work on this, and for that the only way is chanting. So how much sincerely, seriously we need to take these chantings for preparing for that final day. So this softness can only the and in Bhagavatam there is a verse that after chanting so many days also my heart is my heart is still hurted. That's why after chanting also I'm not the tears are not coming from my eyes. So from this we can understand how much anartha is there. No one need to tell from externally where we are actually. We can understand from our, and that can be understood during chanting, during reading, during hearing what is happening with us, how much I am absorption I am getting. And this absorption is we have to practice, we have to do something. It will not happen automatically. I was hearing this on this thing also, that it will not happen automatically. We have to endeavor because we are sadhakas. We are not and we are not kripa siddhas, we are sadhan siddhas, and then also vaidhi sadhan siddhis. So it is up to us. We have to do, we have to show our eagerness, we have to show our sincerity, and then the mercy will come. So elevation, so now these two stages will be described. The elevation to the stages of ecstasy can be possible in two ways. That's what we are discussing: kripa siddhi and sadhan siddhi. Okay. So regarding kripa siddhi, one example I am telling just here also Prabhupada will mention something. It is okay. Let us read Prabhupada's examples instead of uh, giving my example. It is a little filmy example. I will give that example later, so you can read this. Mataji's side, from Mataji's side, can anyone read? Elevation to this stage of ecstasy can be possible.
Elevation to this stage of ecstasy can be possible in two ways. One way is by constant association with pure devotees. The other way is by the special mercy of Krishna or by the mercy of pure devotee of Krishna. Elevation to the ecstatic stage of life is generally attained through association with pure devotees, while elevation to that stage by the special mercy of Krishna or his devotees is very rare. The purport is that one should execute devotional service rigidly in the association of devotees, so that there will be certainty in raising oneself to that ecstatic position. In special cases, of course, there is special favor from Krishna, and although we should always expect that, we should not sit idly and simply wait for Krishna's special mercy. The regular duties must be performed. It is just as when sometimes it is found that a person who never attended school or college may be recognized as a great scholar, or an honorary degree from great universities may be offered to him. But this does not mean that one should avoid school and expect to automatically receive an honorary degree from the same university, from some university. Similarly, one should devotedly execute the regulative principle of devotional service and at the same time hope for Krishna's favor or for his devotees' favor.
Yes. So in this context, sometimes Srila Prabhupada gives the example of Rabindranath Thakur. Okay. Rabindranath Thakur has not gone to any school. Okay. But he was recognized as a great poet. So that is one example. I have heard one very funny example. This example is from Bengali film, early days of Bengali film. Is like sometimes we see in Bengali film that uh, uh, heroine is going somewhere, and then some villains are coming, and then there was a some they were doing something, and hero come into the picture, and hero started fighting with the villains and rescue the villain and rescue the heroine, and then it is found that the heroine is a daughter of some very rich person, and from that the hero get married and get the richness and become the part of that rich family. So even the hero is from a very poor background, the hero get automatically all of a sudden by some incident, an eventual incident happens and he becomes rich. So this is but for that, whether all the poor person will wait on the road when some rich daughter of some person will come, and then they will be fighting, and then I will get rich by rescuing her. So that is a very exceptional situation. So this is also like getting an honorary degree is also very exceptional situation. So but we have to execute. So that's why this kripa siddhi part is very rare. So kripa siddhi, there are two kinds of kripa siddhis were explained. One is uh, one is, see, in one sense everything is in kripa. Ultimately everything is depending on the kripa. We should remember regarding this kripa siddhis and sadhana siddhis, on our own endeavor and Krishna's mercy, we should uh, pray for that. We should remember the Damodar pastime, the two finger. So this one is our endeavor. Our endeavor is our sadhana, and then Krishna's mercy. So think of Jashoda Ma. Jashoda Ma is a Ragatmika Bhakta. For her also Krishna make her wait for some time. It is not that he immediately he allowed her to bind him. Actually, there were so many things were happening. His Lila Shaktis were performing. His Vibhu Shakti was there. There was a Acharyas have explained. There was a tug of war between his Vibhu Shakti and Lila Shakti, and finally Vibhu Shakti uh, got defeated in presence of Lila Shaktis by the affection of the love of Jashodama. The Vibhu Shakti becomes subsided, and that's how he got. But then also the Acharya just explained that Jashodama was completely tired, exhausted on that day. Throughout the from the day to it becomes evening to tie up him. So it is not so easy. Krishna does not give. See, for Rukmini Devi has written the love letter, the first love letter uh, to Krishna, and sent him to Brahma. uh, and Krishna did not reply to anything. And Rukmini Devi was taken to get married with Shishupal from the Durga temple, from the Durga Mandir. After worshipping Durga Mandir, he was coming out, and he was taken to Artha. At that time also, Rukmini Devi was not seeing anywhere Krishna. But all of a sudden, he saw the peacock feather is rising on the hill. And within a minute, Krishna came and kidnapped her from all the heroic kings. So Krishna tested till that end whether Rukmini was having faith on me or not. So this kind of faith, Krishna will check us. Krishna will put us in different situation. But rest assured, Krishna is there. Rest assured. We have to follow. If we fall, for us the only hope, only life jacket is spiritual master's instructions, Prabhupada's instructions. If we follow it, whether we understand, we don't understand, we can ask question to make it to understand it. But if we keep on follow, we follow. If we fail also, we follow it. Fail also, we follow it. Again, come back, beg forgiveness and follow. Because we are crawling child, we are not even able to walk properly. So fall down is natural. But if we keep on endeavoring, mercy will be bestowed on us. That is there. Because Krishna is called Achyuta. Achyuta means he never fails to give his mercy. He never fails to give his protection. We fail to keep our faith in Krishna. That's how we cannot understand Krishna's mercy, Krishna's protection, Krishna's guidance. That's why we feel helpless. Okay. So here we are understanding that the two divisions of Bhava Bhakti, through sadhana and through kripa. So now the examples are given here. Okay. So examples you can read. We can, I don't know the examples of Bhava Bhakti. Okay, one example you can read from Prabhuji. Little quickly, Prabhuji. An example of rising to the stage of, sorry, this is- there are two examples. I think the Narad Muni's example and another is, one example will be through sadhana and one example through kripa will be example. Yes, please read. An example of rising to the stage of ecstatic love by executing the regulatory principles. Please read.
May I read, Prabhu?
From here, an example of rising to the stage of,
An example of rising to the stage of ecstatic love by executing the regulative principles of devotional service is given in the life story of Narada, which is described to Vyasdeva in Srimad Bhagavatam. Narada tells there of his previous life and how he developed to the stage of ecstatic love. He was engaged in the service of great devotees and used to hear their talks and songs. Because he had the opportunity to hear these pastimes and songs of Krishna from the mouth of pure devotees. He became very attracted within his heart because he had become so eager to hear these topics. He gradually developed within himself an ecstatic love for Krishna. This ecstatic love is prior to the pure love of Krishna because in the next verse Narada confirms that by the gradual process of hearing from the great sages, he developed love of Godhead. In that connection, Narada continues to say in the first canto, fifth chapter, verse 28 of the Bhagavatam, first I passed my days in the association of the great sages during the rainy autumn season. Every morning and evening I heard them while they were singing and chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, and thus my heart gradually became purified. As soon as I heard them with great attention, the influence of the modes of material ignorance and passion disappeared, and I became firmly fixed in devotional service to the Lord. Hari Bol.
yes, thank you, Maharaj. So this is the example of sadhana bhakti. So if we just so say here, what are the things? First, I passed my days in the association of great sages during the rainy season. Every morning and evening, I heard them while they were singing and chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, and thus my heart gradually became purified. So just see, singing, Shravanam and Kirtanam. So this is so important, Shravanam and Kirtanam. As soon as I heard them with great attention, the influence of modes of mental ignorance and passion disappeared, and I become firmly fixed in devotional service to the Lord. So, which limb we can take seriously? You need to, we need to introspect so that we can come to this stage one day. At least we should progress towards this stage, even though we may not come in this lifetime. At least we should progress, and seeing our sincerity, Krishna may help us. So just see, I was discussing about the importance of chanting. So here also the same thing is mentioned. Same thing is mentioned, and this is not in Kali Yuga. This is very long ago. From there on, chanting. So attentive hearing. Just see what he was writing. As soon as I heard them, great attention. So this attentive chanting, attentive hearing, attentive reading will make our heart purified. Not an inattentive chanting will help us. Then we can overcome the influence of modes of material nature. See, we need to understand this complicated mesh of material modes of nature has bound us since time immemorial. It is not very easy. It is very complicated mesh. We are into that. If we understand our fallen situation, more we contemplate our fallen situation, more we can intensify our, we can understand our helpless situation, and in that we can be more helplessly call out for the favor of Krishna. This is what in the earlier paragraph we should hope for Krishna's favor and for his devotees' favor. Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata. So it is there in our heart. It is there only by our attentive chanting and hearing we have to revive. Okay. So there are practical examples of how one can develop to the stage of ecstatic love simply by the association of pure devotee. It is essential, therefore, that one constantly associate with pure devotees who are engaged morning and evening in chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. In this way, just see, Prabhupada is writing about only Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Here also he is writing Hare Krishna Mantra, here also Hare Krishna Mantra. That is not writing that who are busy in making big temples. Prabhupada is writing. He is not making who is busy in making big festivals. No. Chanting Hare Krishna Mantra. In this way, one will get the chance to purify his heart and develop this aesthetic love, pure love for Krishna. Okay, so this statement is also confirmed in the 3rd canto, 25th chapter, verse 25 of Srimad Bhagavatam, where Lord Kapila says, "My dear mother, when a person is actually in association with pure devotees, the sublime potency of my devotion service can be experienced." So, this is the point that when we come to the pure in the association, Shadam Prasangat Mama Virja Sangvido Bhavanti Ritkarna Rasayana Katha तत्जोषनाताशु अपवर्गवर्तमाने श्रद्धारतिर्भक्तिरनुक्रमश्यति. So श्रद्धारतिर्भक्तिरनुक्रमश्यति. So we have to hear in the association, attentively we have to hear in the association of the pure devotees. So that's why Srila Prabhupada has given morning Bhagavatam class, evening Bhagavad Gita class. Okay. So whenever we get chance the association of the pure devotees, we should hear from them in the association, not in alone, not in isolation in our home. Yes, that can be that session in that hearing can be in now this virtual hearing is also okay if not possible, but physical hearing if possible, always we should take the advantage of that. We should wait for eagerly when we can go and hear an association, just like when we go for jatras. The jatras should be organized in such a way that we can get the taste of hearing, taste of association. When we hear attentively, when the heart will transform, then the taste will come. Otherwise, it will become ritual. Oh, I have to hear Bhagavatam. Oh, I have to go jatra. After coming from jatra, where have you gone? We are asking after coming most of the jatra, what are the places we have visited? Yes, that is good, but what happens after that? We should inquire ourselves. After visiting this place, after hearing the glories of this place, hearing the glories of this place means after hearing the glories of that place and the glories of the pastimes happened in between the devotees and the Lord, what happens in my heart? Whether I have taken any inspiration from that to improve my sadhana, to improve my aspiration, improve my attachment to Krishna, whether I have rectified any of my mistakes that I am committing in my execution. If this kind of introspections are not happening, then what is the meaning? So in other words, when a pure devotee speaks, his words act upon the hearts of the audience. And what is the secret of hearing and chanting? A professional speaker cannot impress transcendental ecstasy within the hearts of the listeners. However, when a realized soul who is engaged in the service of the Lord is speaking, he has the potency to inject spiritual life within the audience. And that is what Srila Prabhupada has done. When Prabhupada was telling that Krishna, this one word, penetrate the heart, penetrate the thick layer of ignorance and revive the Krishna consciousness. That's why we need to hear Prabhupada lecture also. Hearing Prabhupada lecture is mystical. Reading Prabhupada books is so mystical. What to speak of who have got the opportunity and who have taken the opportunity. The point is we are also getting, but are we taking? That is the point. The one should therefore seek the association of such pure, unalloyed devotees, and by such association and service, a neophyte devotee will certainly develop attachment, love, and devotion. Certainly. Shraddha, Rati, Bhakti, Anukramashati. Shraddha to Rati, certainly develop. There is no difficulty. There is no uncertainty in that. There is uncertainty. What will happen with our material life? What will happen? The material asset that we have built by giving so much labor, so much time, we don't know. We are making house, we are making, we are accumulating money. We don't know what will happen after we leave our body, after we depart from this material body. We don't know. But if we follow this one instruction, this is certain. This is written in Bhagavatam. Kopindra is telling. Srila Prabhupada is writing. Rupa Goswami is quoting. What else we need? What else we need? One verse. That's why Shuakshay Maharaj is to say that one verse of Srimad Bhagavatam can take us to Golok Vrindavan. One verse. If we one verse we realize it has so much potential. But how far we are taking it? In the Padma Purana, there is the story of a neophyte devotee who, in order to raise herself to the ecstatic platform, danced all night to invoke the Lord's grace upon her. So this is the Kripa Siddhi stage. Sometimes, however, it is found that without undergoing a devotional process, one all of a sudden develops devotion for Krishna. The sudden development of the devotional attitude in person must be understood as a special mercy of Krishna or his devotees. This apparently accidental development of ecstatic feelings through causeless mercy of Krishna can be divided into three groups: simply by speaking, simply by glancing, and simply by good wishes. Okay, so there are three way we can it can be developed. Okay. In the Narada Purana, there is a statement about the development of ecstatic love simply by speaking. Lord Krishna said to Narada, "O best of the Brahmanas, I wish that you may develop anala devotional service to me, which is full of transcendental bliss and honest process." This is speaking. Okay. Then in Skandapurna, there is a statement about developing a straight love towards Krishna simply by glancing. It stated that there, when the inhabitants of Jangala province saw the personality of God Krishna, they were so stricken with feeling that they could not withdraw their glance from him. So actually, this is the time he passes Jangala. I think either he was going to a devotee to meet uh, in Nepal at that time, or he was coming from Mathura to Dwarka, some from Hostinam to Dwarka. I just don't remember when he was passing, but during his travel, he this glance of pure devotee is also so much potency, so much powerful. Darshane Pavitra Kare Tomar Guna, it is there. Nartun Darshakur has written. As far as the heartfelt wishes are concerned, there is statement in the Shuka Sangita where Narada tells Srila Vyasdeva, "You have a son who is greatest devotee of the personality of Godhead." And I can observe that without any following of the regular principle of devotional service, he is already enriched with many of the many of symptoms achieved by the execution of devotional service after many births. So this is about Shukdev Goswami. As far as ecstatic love of Krishna, that is statement in the seventh canto. So this you can read. Prabhuji's side, you can read as ecstatic love.
Okay. As for static love of Krishna, there is a statement in the seventh canto, fourth chapter, verse 36 of Srimad Bhagavatam, in which Narada addresses King Yudhishthir. My dear king, it is very difficult to describe the character of Prahlad. He developed a natural attraction for Krishna, and whatever I can explain about his character will simply be an arrangement of words. His actual character is impossible to describe. This means that Narad himself admitted that the natural development of Prahlad's ecstatic love was by the grace of Lord Krishna.
Yes.
This,
Yes. Please read it completely.
this natural attraction for Krishna on the part of Prahlad was developed simply by the mercy of Narada. When Prahlad Maharaj was within the womb of his mother, she was being sympathetically instructed by Narad about the signs of devotional service. And at the same time, Narad was wishing that the child within the womb could also take advantage of the instructions. Because Narada, an authorized devotee and great associate of the personality of Godhead, was desiring auspiciousness for Prahlad Maharaj. He developed all the characteristics of a high grade devotee. This is called natural attraction. It is caused by the special grace of the personality of Godhead or by the special grace of the great devotee like Narada. There is a statement in the Skanda Puran wherein Parvat Muni tells Narada, "My dear Narada, all the saintly persons, you are so great and glorious that simply by your good wishes, a low-born hunter also has become a great elevated devotee of Lord Krishna." This ecstatic love for Krishna can be divided into five divisions, which will be described by Srila Rup Goswami later on.
Yes. So here, this is the example of Brigari, and this is the example of Prahlad Maharaj, where Narad Muni's wishes by the mercy of the devotee. So there are two categories. One is by Krishna's mercy, and another is devotee's mercy. So here, in the first example, the first three example was Krishna's mercy, and here in the third was the wishes also there. Okay, heartfelt wishes of Narad Muni or Krishna, whoever it may be, and then the glance wishes, and this is the wish, and speaking is there simply by speaking, simply by glancing, simply by good wishes. So this is how the Kripa Siddhis are. So Narad Muni is telling that Prahlad Maharaj is the Kripa Siddha, Mrigar is the Kripa Siddha, and but Narad Muni himself is Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakta Siddha. Okay, so that is the point we need to remember. So for us, Narad Muni is a very good role model for us. Okay, just by hearing and chanting, we can come to the perfected stage of Krishna consciousness. And there is Mrigari. Mrigari is also like that. From a lowest grade to the highest grade, he has been elevated. Okay, so the characteristics of ecstatic love. Okay, this will come. Okay, this is the one question we have to write this point. I think one question will be there. Okay, Rupa Goswami next discuss the characteristic of a person who has actually developed his ecstatic love for Krishna. So, what are the points? So, someone can read this 9 point. This 9 point is very important to know.
Yes, Prabhu. Number one, the characteristics are as follows. Number one, he is always anxious to utilize his time in the devotional service of the Lord. He does not like to be idle. He wants service always, 24 hours a day, without deviation.
Yes, so this is called Abhyartha Karattam. Okay, second,
He is always reserved and perseverant.
yes. So this is in Bengali. I think the Bengali terms are there. Okay, keep on reading. I will try to.
He is always detached from all material attraction. He does not
Virakti. So
love.
this is called Virakti. This is called Virakti. Bhaktir Palashanubhava, Viraktir Annatra. Yes.
He does not long for any material respect in return for his activities.
Yes, this is called Mana Shunnata. Omani. We are reading every day. Omanina Manadano Kirtaniya Sadahari. This is the stage. So we will actually become Omani when we have come to the Bhava stage. Yes,
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I have one question. Just for clear, like doubt clear. प्रभु वो जो 16 चैप्टर इन भगवत गीता वो दैव गुणावली जो है ना वही सेम है ना ये सारे
No. Not like that. Some things are common, maybe, but not
Okay.
exactly. Not exactly. This is a specific characteristics, specific qualities of a Bhava Bhakta. A person who has come to the Bhava stage, these
Hmm.
9 characteristics will be, all the 9 characteristics will be revealed, manifested in his, within, within him or her. Okay.
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 Okay, Prabhu. Thanks.
That Daivi Gunavali, that is a that is the preliminary thing. For a bhakta, all this Daivi Gunavali should be there. Okay. That is the general principle, not a specific principle who are elevated to the bhava stage. Okay. That's the general principle, general qualities of a Daivi Gunavali should be there.
Okay,
Yes.
Prabhu. ठीक.
So we have read Aparta Kalatham, and then we have read Omani. Yes. How much we are read? He is always certain.
He is always certain that
Yes.
Krishna will bestow his mercy upon him.
Yes. Yes. Next.
He is always very eager to serve the Lord faithfully.
Yes.
He is very much attached to the chanting of the holy names of the Lord.
Yes. Namo Ganesh Hadaruji. Just see again chanting. Chanting is not leaving us. Yes. Next.
He is very much attached to, he is always eager to describe the transcendental qualities of the Lord.
Yes. Then.
He is very pleased to live in a place where the Lord's pastimes are performed. Example, Mathura, Vrindavan, or Dwarka.
Yes. So this utilization of time, you can read, this is very important. Prabhupada has told many a times, the time is, we cannot, how far we are eager to utilize our time perfectly in Krishna consciousness. So that is the point whether by our
Oh, I
sadhana
want to read.
we are progressing. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Ah,
Can I read?
yes, you can read.
Sorry for sound background.
Sound is coming.
Utilization of
You can
time
read it afterwards. Let the
and
dog, let the time passes. Dog will be a little bit pacified by.
okay, Prabhu, next time another
Yeah,
devotees can read.
yes, please. So I am not reading. I am not reading to anyone. This is some things we can understand very easily. Some examples are there. Okay.
Prabhu, I will read now. Just stop.
Okay, just stop. Okay.
Utilization of time. An unalloyed devotee who has developed ecstatic love for Krishna is always engaging his words in reciting prayers to the Lord. Within the mind, he is always thinking of Krishna, and with the body, he either offers obeisances by bowing down before the deity or engages in some other service. Sorry. During these ecstatic activities, he sometimes shed tears. In this way, his whole life is engaged in the service of the Lord, with not a moment wasted on any other engagement. Perseverance. When a person is undisturbed, even in the presence of various causes of disturbance, he is called reserved and perseverant. An example of this perseverance and reservation is found in the behavior of King Parikshit as described in the first canto, 19th chapter, verse 15 of Srimad Bhagavatam. The king says there to all the sages present before him at the time of his death, my dear Brahmanas, you should always accept me as your surrendered servant. I have come to the bank of the Ganges just to develop my heart and soul unto the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. So please bless me that Mother Ganges may also be pleased with me. Let the curse of the Brahmana's son fall upon me. I do not mind. I only request that at the last moment of my life, all of you will kindly chant the holy name of Vishnu so that I may realize his transcendental qualities. This example of Maharaja Parikshit's behavior, his remaining patient even at the last point of his life, his undisturbed condition of mind is an example of reservation. This is one of the characteristics of a devotee who has developed excessive love for Krishna.
Thank you, Manoj. So here we need to understand that when a person is undisturbed, even in the presence of various causes of disturbance, is called reserved and preservant. This is very exalted quality. So Parikshit Maharaj has been given this timeline, deadline has been given. So he can counteract. He could have counteract the cards given by that Brahma Bandhu. He was not even Brahman, okay, but he accepted as a will of Lord Krishna. So this is and he was he was not agitated. Okay, this is the point that we say that bhukti mukti siddhi sakali ashanto Krishna bhakta nishkam ataiva shanto. But when situation becomes some little bit here and there, we become very much disturbed. Very much disturbed. Yes, that does not mean that, see, our disturbance sometimes it appear to be a material disturbance, but it is also maybe a spiritual disturbance. Like there is an example, there is a pastime that this is with Srila Bhakti Chandra Saraswati Thakur. Uh, he was also giving this kind of he has teaching his disciples, and then what happens after this class, someone some banana was kept in the room, in the nearby the deity room in the temple, uh, and some monkey came and stolen that banana. So Bhakti Singh and stolen and start running. And Bhakti Singh Saraswati Thakur started running after that monkey to bring back that banana. He was become so disturbed that how come a monkey can take this banana. So what this is? This is a symptom. Whether that means that Bhakti Singh Saraswati Thakur is not in bhava state. What does it mean? What do you think? What is it showing?
He was Prabhuji, he was in the hostel.
So then what is why he was started running after that monkey?
He did not wanted to share that banana with anyone except Krishna.
Sorry?
He did not wanted to share the banana with anyone except Krishna.
Yes, the point is that not like that, but point is that it was meant for Krishna. It is meant for Krishna. How can that can be taken by anyone else? So when a devotee, a pure devotee, see everything in relationship to Krishna, and when there is some disturbance, he becomes also disturbed. Like Prabhupada was walking on the long building road, on the long at that time, not long building, the lotus building. Lotus building he was walking. At that time the lotus building was only there. And at that time he saw that in one room, the room was locked from outside, and inside the fan was rotating, fan was running. So he said, what is this? The devotees in Western world, in the Western countries, they were working so hard and distributing books and sending fund, and here we are wasting Krishna's energy like this. No one is there in the room, and the fan is running. He got very much disturbed. So the point is, the disturbance we may feel if we see that there is some wastage, some discrepancy in connection to serving Krishna. So sometimes the devotee, suppose the devotee's mobile may lost, the devotee may be very disturbed. For what? May become very disturbed. For what? Because he was using that mobile for Krishna service, and he was using his money for buying that thing, for using that Krishna service. So if the Jukta Vairagya principle is very much firm, if the attachment towards Krishna is there, then that kind of disturbance is good, because that is for Krishna. That is not a material disturbance. That is not out of attachment for that material object. Okay. So, but here, Parikshit Maharaj has been cursed and has been given this deadline, and he was seeing it as a Krishna's mercy. So this is how a devotee who has this ecstatic love for Krishna can see. Okay, so this is also a very important qualification that we should understand. Just trying to correlate with these words. Tolerance or perseverance. This is called khanti. This word is called, this perseverance is called khanti. So first is abhyartha kalattam, where we can understand that not a single moment is wasted. And during static activities, he sometimes shed tears. So in this way, his whole life is engaged. Perseverance means khanti. He is tolerant and not disturbed in any situation. Then Detachment means birokti. Okay. So this is, there are examples of various examples, but we can read the principle. The senses are always desiring sense enjoyment, but when a devotee develops a love for Krishna, his senses are no longer attached by mutual desires. This state of mind is called detachment. So you can separate out the definition of the one qualities, and then you can read. You can understand the examples. Okay, the examples is given. There is a nice example of detachment in connection with the character of Bharat Maharaj in fifth canto. And Bharat was attracted by the beauty of the lotus feet of the Krishna, that even in his youthful life he gave up all kinds of attachment to family, and he becomes completely and although they were untouchable stools, so he becomes completely like retired prematurely and started engaging in the absorption of Krishna, thought of Krishna, started doing tapasya for getting Krishna. Okay, but yes, that was problem happened to him. Okay, so Emperor Bharat provides a typical example of detachment, and he had everything enjoyable in the material world. So that is the point. So having everything and detaching those things is not very easy thing. So this means that detachment does not mean artificially keeping oneself aloof or apart from the allurement of attachment. So that detachment does not mean that artificially keeping oneself aloof is not the detachment. Even in the presence of such allurement, if one can remain unattached by mental attachment, he is called detached. In the beginning, of course, a neophyte devotee must try to keep himself apart from all kinds of alluring attachment, but the real position of a mature devotee is that even in the presence of all allurement, he is not at all attracted. That is called the actual criterion of detachment. Okay. So that's why the Bharat Maharaj, even though there was some problem, he got developed another attachment for that deer, and he had to take Bharat Maharaj, Jaro Bharat, and then have to become a deer. That was a different issue. Problem, incident has happened. So that shows that from Bhava stage also there is a possibility of fall down if we are not careful and if we are not in the association of pure devotees. So Bharat Maharaj was alone. Okay, there is ashram in Nepal. There is ashram where the Bharat Maharaj was doing the tapasya. I got the fortune to visit that place, and I was remembering that at that stage, at that was a very nice place. The Gandaki is flowing down, and Bharat Maharaj ashram is on the on some elevated hill actually. Is on the valley of the hill. Very nice place on the bank of Gandaki river. So he has gone there to do the meditation to get Krishna, to get the love of Godhead, because he was at Bhava stage. But then also some problem may come. So we need to be very much careful actually. Okay, so then the pridelessness. Pridelessness means when a devotee is, in spite of possessing all qualities. So here Prabhupada is writing wonderful definition, criterion of detachment. Should understand. So the point is we need to understand how Srila Prabhupada has explained. The mature devotees understand that nothing belongs to me. What I should, to whom I shall be attached. Nothing actually belongs to me. Everything belongs to Krishna. Our point is, our detachment is not to giving up detachment, but utilizing detachment. Utility is the principle. Okay, by that we can develop. Otherwise, what we should detach? If we have, then we can detach from it. If we understand that actually this is the main detachment is to get rid of this misconception that I possess something. If I don't possess anything, I cannot possess anything. Okay, I can possess nothing. Rather, I should become the possession of Krishna and Krishna's devotees. That will make our life successful. And I should utilize whatever apparently is within my jurisdiction, I should utilize in Krishna's service. Pridelessness. Pridelessness means manashunnata. Does not hanker for material respect. That is the point. Amanana manadi. Kirtanya shadamati. So when a devotee is, in spite of possessing all qualities of pure realization, is not proud of his position, he is called pride. Many examples there is there. I can remember one example. That is the example of Madhavendra Puri. Madhavendra Puri, when for him, the Gopinath of Remuna has stolen the kheer, that Amrita Keli. At that time, when the pujari in the middle of the night, pujari have been given the darshan, the dream, and then the pujari ran in the marketplace where Madhavendra Puri was chanting in the night also, and he handed over that pot of that Amrita Keli to Madhavendra Puri. Madhavendra Puri was initially very ecstatic. He was very well. Then he immediately left that place because the whole when the day will uh, the next day all the people will came to know that for Madhavendra Puri the Gopinath has stolen the Amrita Keli, the kheer. So that's how he becomes that Gopinath becomes Khirchora Gopinath only to glorify Madhavendra Puri. But he immediately left that place. Immediately left that place. So he has the full, all the quality of pure devotional service, but immediately left. He was having Krishna Prem, he was there, completely pure. So Bhava is automatically there. Automatically. So this is an example that how much they are not, even though they are eligible to become proud or become famous, Khyati, so they leave it. They just ignore it. They don't care for it. They don't expect for it. So he is called prideless. In the Padma Puran decided that the king Bhagirath, because actually what happens, more one become purified, more one become understand how much he is unqualified. This thing that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, how can he write? How can he write that Purishira kit hoite mui se logishto, jagai madai hoite mui se papisto. Even Rupa Goswami, Purishira kit means the stool the stool, the worm in the stool. I am lower than that, and it is not just just a poetic exaggeration. He was really explain. He was feeling it. He was actually his mood was like that. So that is the level of purity. At that pure stage only one can think like that, not artificial. So this is the ultimate level of pridelessness. So here they develop such ecstatic love for Krishna that they become mendicant and were begging to the home. So there is an example. Some king Bhagirath was emperor of all, yet he develops such ecstatic love for Krishna that he becomes mendicant. There are many similar instances in the history of India. Even very recently, about 200 years ago, one big landlord, as Lala Babu of Calcutta landholder, became a Vaishnava and lived in Vrindavan. He also was also begging from door to door, even at the homes of his political enemies. Begging involving being ready to be insulted by person to those whom one to whose home one has come. That is natural, but one has to tolerate such insult for the sake of Krishna. The devotee of the Krishna can accept any position in the service of Krishna. So this is the point that even that when he was before he became Vaishnava, when he was in his uh, active life as a landlord, he was having some inimical situation, inimical relation with someone, but he was begging from Ashabandha, great hope. This Ashabandha is also very important, that hope and confidence in Krishna's mercy. That Krishna will protect me. So you can read this, there are various examples. This is also very important. Ashabandha, we should be the strong conviction that one will certainly receive the favor of God. It is called Shastri in Ashabandha. Ashabandha means to continue to think, because I am trying to be my best to follow the routine principle of devotion. The routine principle of devotion means Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. I am sure that I will go back to home, back to God. So this faith should be there. This is called Ashavan. Okay, that by following this routine, so in that routine, the most important is attentive chanting. So that should be the most important routine. In this connection, one prayer by Rupa Goswami is sufficient to exemplify his hopefulness. He says, I have no hope for Krishna, nor for the cause of developing love of Krishna, namely hearing and chanting. And when the process of bhakti yoga, by which one is always thinking of Krishna and fixing his lotus feet in the heart, is also lacking in me. So just think how Rupa Goswami is praying for this. As far as philosophical knowledge, or pious works are concerned, I do not see any opportunity for me to execute such activity. But above all, I am not even born of a nice family. He was actually born of a very exalted Saraswat Brahman family. But as he got engaged in the service of Mohammedan government, he was thinking like that. Actually, there is a episode in that is a section in Chaitanya Charitamrita where Rupa Goswami was explaining that how he is less qualified than even Jogayan Mathai to get the mercy. Therefore, I must simply pray to God, Gopijana Vallabha, Krishna, maintainer and beloved of the Gopis. I simply wish and hope that some way or other I may be able to approach your lotus feet. And this hope is giving me pain because I think myself quite incompetent to approach that transcendental goal of life. The purpose is that under this heading of Asha Bandha, one should continue to hope against hope that some way or other he will able to approach the lotus feet or something. So these Ashabandha prayers are almost like the Doina Bodhika prayers, Doina Bodhika Bhikkupti that we have read in Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti one limbs. So some limbs are maybe similar, may appears to be similar, but the levels are different. Okay. Doina Bodhika is a reality, but here it is really Doina. Okay. So how much humility, how much purity, how much pridelessness can give rise this kind of prayers from the heart of Rupa Goswami. So that is the point. The eagerness for achieving the desired success, that is Shamutkanta, longings. I think this is the Shamutkanta part actually, complete eagerness, yes. Utkanta, the longing for the Lord's service, eagerness for achieving the desired success. Shamutkanta, yes. So when one is sufficiently eager to achieve success in devotional service, that eagerness is called Shamutkanta. So one should be very much eager. Uh, so here the example of Billamangal Thakur is given. Okay, Krishna with his bent black eye, brows, thick eyelashes, attractive and shifty eyes, soft words which melt the heart, sweet and red lips, and intoxicating flute sound enchants the universe. I long to see that Krishna in Vrindavan. So I am eagerly waiting to see uh, the Vrindavan whose bodily beauty is captivating the whole universe, whose eyes are always bound by black eyebrows and expand like lotus pearls. So these are the description how Villamangal Thakur is describing Krishna. He was not able to see. He was actually blind. He make himself blind. You know the story of Billamangal Thakur. He how he was a he was very much lusty at one point of life in his purva in his previous মানে, in his initial days, and then that Shomgiri, who was actually his previous life guru, became Chintamani as a prostitute, and he has one day visited that prostitute uh, in a very difficult weather. It was very heavily raining. No boats were available, but he somehow reached. I will not elaborate much about that past time. But then that prostitute said that if you have a little bit attraction of this kind of attraction for Krishna, you could have been elevated to spiritual world. You can become a devotee. So that word makes him transform his heart. So then he became a devotee. So he was a very Rashik Bhakta. So this kind of attachment, eagerness, utkantha, we should see, we should have that utkantha. For us, our utkantha should be when we will able to chant one pure holy name. One pure holy name. When I will able to chant. That utkantha is sufficient for us. When I will able to hear the instruction of my spiritual master very eagerly and I execute perfectly, at least for one day. Like that, we can develop some utkanta, some eagerness, attachment to the chanting of the holy name. So this every many time we have discussed. Okay, so we can read this kind of section before we start chanting. We should have some notebook where we should write down some inspiration quotes, inspiration sentences, which may help me to inspire me to chant attentively. to hear attentively. We have to do something every day to improve our chanting. So this is a code you can write in this in the same Krishna Parnam which is there is another statement about the chanting of Radharani. It is said that by one of associates of Radharani, O Lord Govinda, the girl who is the daughter of King Vrishabhanu is now shedding tears and she is anxiously chanting your holy name, Krishna, Krishna. So this chanting is there in Goloka Vrindavan. Chanting of Radharani is chanting for Krishna. And we are also chanting for Krishna. We are actually chanting for Krishna, taking shelter of Radharani. Hare Krishna, Jugala Mantra. So, Namo Gane Shadarusi. Always eager. Wherever there is Kirtan, we should eagerly do Kirtan. Okay. Sometimes we get opportunity, we should use whenever we get the opportunity. Eagerness to describe the Lord's transcendental qualities. Okay. Tad gunana akhane ashakti. Attachment to discuss. So, this is also described. There are various points, so you can read there. Okay. Attachment for living in the place where Krishna. This is we have discussed Mathura Vas. It's elaborately described. Again, I'm not going to detail of it. Okay. So love for Krishna is about visiting dhamas. So whenever we get chance to visit dhama, we should go and we should stay there and associate with the pure devotees, hear from the devotees. Okay. Okay, time is getting. We'll just so this you can this is you can read, not a difficult thing or. So here Prabhupada is making us cautious about their various so-called devotees are there, pseudo devotees are there. So we should be very much careful while staying in dhamas, because in dhamas there are many kinds of activities are going on, particularly in this age of Kali. There are various pseudo sects are prominent in the name of Vaishnavism, and that's why our acharyas had to struggle a lot to revive the original Vaishnava culture. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Bhaktivinoda Saraswati Thakur, and Srila Prabhupada find that. So we should not water down standard of Vaishnavism in the name of Shahajiyas, in the name of cheap following of exalted path. Okay. So these are the some things. The shadow attachment, many things are developed. Has been explained here. You can read this part. Okay, I'm not elaborating. So now devotional service in pure love, ecstasy. So there are various sections of ecstasy are described. Okay. This is the Prema Bhakti, the last section. Okay. So here, actually, Srila Prabhupada is describing association of the pure devotees. Okay. So very small chapter, not much thing is described here because this is Krishna Prem's part. So we can read quickly some part and we can discuss something and then we will complete. Yes, someone can read when one's desire to love for Krishna in one's particular relationship becomes intensified. Please read.
When one desire to love Krishna in one's particular relationship becomes intensified, this is known as pure love of Godhead. In the beginning, a devotee is engaged in the regulative principles of devotional service by the order of his spiritual master. When one thereby becomes completely purified of all material contamination, there develops an attachment and taste for devotional service. This taste and attachment, when gradually intensified in the course of time, becomes love. The word love can actually be applied only in relationship with the personality of Godhead. In the material world, love is not applicable at all. What goes on under the name of love in the material world is nothing but lust. There is a gulf of difference between love and lust, like the difference between gold and iron. In the Narad Panchatattva, it is clearly stated that when lust is completely transferred to the Supreme Godhead and the concept of kingship is completely reposed in him, such is accepted as pure love of God by great authorities like Bhishma, Prahlad, Uddhava, and Narad.
Yes. So I can complete this part. Great authorities like
Great Great authorities like Bhishma have explained that love of Godhead means completely giving up all so-called love for any other person. According to Bhishma, love means reposing one's affection completely upon one person, withdrawing all affinities for any other person. This pure love can be transferred to the Supreme Personality of Godhead under two conditions: out of ecstasy and out of causeless mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself.
yes. So the exclusivity is mentioned here. Exclusive love. Exclusive. So, and this is what actually Krishna wants. Krishna is also an exclusive lover, is expecting our exclusive love. Okay. Not all inclusive. I am loving Krishna, I am loving everyone, so like that, not like that. When one's, just see the first sentence, when one's desire to love Krishna in one's particular relationship becomes intensified, this is known as pure love of Godhead in one particular relationship. So that means that particular relationship may be as a servant also. We will read in Buddha there are servants who are in Goloka Vrindavan. They are like, I have heard, they are like carpenters. They come and do the carpentry work in Nanda Maharaj. So they are also in intense love. Their names will be like Raktak or something like that. Some names are there given. I'm forgetting. Yes, someone raised hand. Hare Krishna. Anyone has raised hand, or like we can unmute and ask. Okay. So
No.
okay, okay. In the beginning, a devotee is engaged in the regulatory principles of devotion. So in the beginning, there is a, it started with the regulatory principle. So see, Srila Prabhupada is mainly describing the our journey from the from Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti to Krishna Prem. Okay. So gradual. So we will describe little bit the gradual progress, that how from Shraddha to Krishna Prem is there before we end it. So the ecstasy, just anyone can read from Mataji's, from Prabhuji's side, ecstatic love of Godhead can be potently invoked.
Ecstatic
Prabhu,
love
I'm
of
reading
God.
it. Okay, read.
Okay, thank you.
Ecstatic love of Godhead can be potently invoked simply by following the rules and regulations of devotional service as they are prescribed in scriptures under the direction of a bona fide spiritual master. In the 11th canto, 2nd chapter, verse 40 of Srimad Bhagavatam, this ecstatic love, born of the execution of regulative devotional service, is explained. A devotee, in the course of executing the regulative principles of devotional service, develops a natural Krishna consciousness, and being thus softened at heart, he chants and dances like a madman. While performing chanting of the holy name of the Lord, he sometimes cries, sometimes he talks wildly, sometimes sings, and sometimes, without caring for any outsider, dances like a madman. In the Padma Puran, there is statement about ecstatic love born of spontaneous affection. Chandrakanti, a celebrated fair-faced girl, rigidly observed celibacy in order to obtain Krishna as her husband. She always engaged herself in meditating on the transcendental form of the Lord and always chanted the glories of the Lord. She did not desire to accept anyone else as her husband. She had firmly decided that only Lord Krishna would be her husband.
Yes. So this is also like a spontaneous affection of Chandrakanti. This is the example of not a Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti example. Okay, this is an example of uh, Kripa Siddhi also here also in this case, in this connection. Okay. So the Lord's extraordinary mercy. So here the point is this ecstasy. So what most important is that this ecstatic love of Godhead can be potently invoked by following the rules and regulation of the devotional service under the direction of spiritual master. This is our only hope. Okay, if we can follow this thing, then we will be successful. There is no doubt about it. Okay, and this is also there. There are some examples uh, that uh, some kripa following some spontaneous attraction is also there. That is also there. Lord's extraordinary mercy. So Mataji, you can read now.
Sorry, Prabhu.
You can read Mataji from here.
Okay. The
Already
Lord's,
read.
Prabhu, that parana, that the Lord's extraordinary mercy.
Yes. Yes, yes.
Okay. When a devotee is found to be always associated with the Lord in ecstatic love, it is to be understood that such a position has been avoided by the Lord Himself out of His causeless extraordinary mercy. An example of such extraordinary mercy is given in the 11th canto, 12th chapter, verse 7 of Srimad Bhagavatam, wherein Lord Krishna tells Uddhava the gopis in Vrindavana did not study the Vedas to achieve me, nor had they ever been to holy places of pilgrimage, nor did they devotedly execute any regulative principle, nor did they undergo any kind of austerity. It is simply by my association that they have attained the highest perfection of devotional service. From the example of Chandrakanti as found in the Padma Purana and from the example of the gopis as found in Srimad Bhagavatam, it appears that is devotee who always thinks of Krishna and who always chants his glories in ecstatic love, regardless of his condition, will attain the highest perfection of unalloyed devotional love due to Lord Krishna's extraordinary mercy. This is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam. If a person worships, adores, and loves Hari, the Supreme Lord, he should be understood to have finished all kinds of austerities, penances, and similar processes for self realization. On the other hand, if after undergoing all types of austerities, penances, and mystic yoga practices, one does not develop such love for Hari, then all his performance are to be considered a useless waste of time. If someone always sees Krishna inside and out, then it is to be understood that he has surpassed all austerities and penances for self realization. And if after executing all kinds of penances and austerities, one cannot always see Krishna inside and out, then he has executed his performance uselessly. Spontaneous attraction to Krishna, which is said to be due to the extraordinary mercy of the Lord, can be placed under two headings. One is profound veneration for the greatness of the Lord, and the other is one's being automatically attracted to Krishna without any extraneous consideration. In
Just
the
a minute, Mataji. So, so here actually the point is described. One is Mahatma. One is see the Prema Bhakti. Here the cause of Prema Bhakti is described here. So one is Bhava Utthiта Prema Bhakti, another is Prasada Utthiта Prema Bhakti. One is Bhava Utthiта means that arises from Bhava stage. So that's why the primary, primary, uh, primary lakshan or primary characteristic of Prema Bhakti is when Bhava becomes extremely condensed or intensified, it is called Prema Bhakti. And the Tadastha Lakshan or secondary characteristics is that when the prema softens the heart completely. Bhava, at the Bhava stage, the softening process started, and the prema stage, it becomes completely softened. And prema produces extreme possessiveness for Krishna in the devotee. For Krishna in the devotee. That means that first line was there, that specific, when one's desire to love Krishna in one particular relationship become intensified. So that is the secondary characteristic of prema bhakti. The first is the prema needs, the bhava needs to be condensed. That's why the Chandra Atma Vishesh Atma, Chandra Ananda Vishesh Atma is revealed in prema bhakti stage, not before. Okay, and this is Krishna Akarshani. This can attract Krishna. Okay, the Radharani's love is attracting Krishna. Prahlad's love is attracting Nrsimha Bhagavan. So this is the point that where the when the Krishna prem, that's why Krishna does not want to give this thing very cheaply. Okay, even though it can be attained, it is attained. It can Krishna actually want to give, but Krishna want to see, particularly in when the Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti is there. So here, so spontaneous attraction to Krishna is divided into two parts. That is, one is so in this Vaidhi, in the bhavottita stage, when the process is happening gradually from bhava to prema is going, so that has two division. One is Vaidhi bhavottita and another is raganuga bhavottita. That means from the raganuga path, one is coming to bhava and another is come Vaidhi bhava. So in the Vaidhi bhava, Vaidhi sadhana bhakti will give. So now the point is here, this Vaidhi bhavottita, the track, that will give one profound veneration for the greatness. That is the Mahatma. That is the Oishwarya Gyan will be there in that stage. Oishwarya Gyan will be there. And then the other is being automatically added to Krishna without any extraneous consideration. That means, what does it mean? That means there is no consideration of Krishna being cowherd boy or Krishna being anyone else. When they don't know about Krishna's transcendental position or even also. They only love Krishna. That's it. But our love is towards Krishna is that we know that yes, Krishna is supreme person of Godhead. That's why we are endeavoring to reposing our loving propensity towards Krishna. Okay, is this clear? So this need to be clear to understand, because that's why the Vaidhi Sadhan Bhakti gives Mahatma Gyana Jukta Prem. And Raganuga Sadhan Bhakti gives Kevala Prem, which is appeared in Gopis in the Vrindavan first time. Okay, and this, yes. So let us read now the example. So these are the concept of Prema Bhaktis. So in the Narada Pancharatra it is said that, yeah, yes, Bhakti, please continue from here. In the Narada Pancharatra.
प्रभु मैं continue करूं?
Yes, आप ही continue.
In the Narada Pancharatna, it is said that if on account of profound veneration for the greatness of the Supreme Lord, one attains a great affection and steady love for him, one is certainly assured of attaining the four kinds of Vaishnava liberation, namely achieving the same bodily features as the Lord, achieving the same opulence as the Lord, dwelling on the planet where the Lord is residing, and attaining eternal association with the Lord. The Vaishnava liberation is completely different from the Mayavad liberation, which is simply a matter of being merged into the effulgence of the Lord. In the Narada Pancharatna, pure unalloyed devotional service is explained as being without any motive for personal benefit. If a devotee is continuously in love with Lord Krishna and his mind is always fixed upon him, that devotional attitude will prove to be the only means of attracting the attention of the Lord. In other words, a Vaishnava who is in say incessantly. तो क्या है?
Incessantly, yes, incessantly means
Incessantly.
continuous.
Okay. Thinking of the form of Lord Krishna is to be known as a pure Vaishnava. Generally, a devotee who has achieved the costless mercy of the Lord on account of following the strict rules and regulations of devotional service becomes attracted by the supreme greatness of the Lord, by the transcendental beauty of the Lord, and by the spontaneous execution of devotional service. To be more clear, by executing the regulative principles of devotional service, one can fully appreciate the transcendental beauty of the Lord. In any case, such exalted positions are possible only by the extraordinary mercy of the Lord upon the devotee.
Yes. So finally, we are depending on the mercy.
Mercy only.
It is not only our achievement. Sometimes we think bhakti is not as we are bhakti is not a process of achieving something. It is receiving the mercy of the Lord, which is coming through the mercy of the pure Vaishnavas through our spiritual master. So this is the final thing we need to always remember. It is called as mercy, mercy, mercy. In other process like karma, jnana, yoga, it is a achievable thing something. Okay, but in bhakti it is mercy. So now association of the devotees. So here I will briefly take. So association of the devotees is very important, although many different processes are developing. The above word has been explained so far. So Lord Goswami now gives us the general description of how one can best achieve such a position. The beginning of ecstatic love, what it is basically faith. This is Shraddha. There are many societies. So now I will go to that thing here actually. This Sadhu Sangha, Shraddha. So this is about Shraddha. This is about Narad Muni's situation. So it is coming. Abu Shraddha. So there are two kinds of Shraddha. One is, so this is the verse actually. Yes. Adho Shraddha tato sadhu sango adho bhajana kriya tato anartha nivritti shat tato nishtha ruchis tato adho asaktis tato bhavas tato premo prema ubbandhayan chanti sadhakanam ayam premna pradurbhavet bhavet krama. So this is our faith that from Ado Shraddha to Prem we can come. Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajanukya, this is we have described this thing. So this cause of bhakti we have described Shubha Karma, that is the Shukriti, Bhakti Unmukhi Shukriti, and this is Lord's mercy and this is devotee's cause. And this is the one practical analogy how it becomes very easy after we reach to the Nishtha stage also. And then this is Ado Shraddha. So Shraddha means the Shavik Shraddha, which is having a Narad Muni as a boy, and Balutpad Shraddha, that is Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra was not ready to leave his home, but Vidura forced him to leave the home. So when faith matures sufficiently, it leads him to take association of the devotees. So then Sadhu Sangha often results in exchange of view initially. So sometimes, suppose the kirtan is going on, by seeing that we think, okay, let's see what is happening. Let's go there. Oh, this literature is distributed. Let me take one literature. Oh, some posters or pamphlets are there for happening some seminars, some classes. We have got some contact. Like some devotee came into the Ratha Yatra festival, and they entered into the stall of Bhakti Vriksha. They took some interest. Okay, this Ratha Yatra festival is going on the Brigade Parade ground. Let me see what is happening. So they came into the Bhakti Vriksha, they took some pamphlet, they have been taken they gone through some quiz or something, how we arrange our Bhakti Vriksha stall, and then we get contact, we invite, and he or she start coming, and by that association he started his journey. So this is a thing, genuineness. So what they are seeing, some initial seeing, then genuineness of understanding and practice, one asks some question, faith grows with association, they strengthen and push each other, and respect arise, a sense of service develop, and the devotee engaged in some practical devotional service. This is how the Sadhu Sangha works. So this is the example of Narad Muni, what we have seen. And then come Bhajana Kriya. Bhajana Kriya means when we associate with Sadhu Sangha, we see what the sadhus are doing. and then we start to take interest in that doing that. I want to also do like that sadhus. So that means that bhajana kriya they want to practice. Okay, the sadhus are chanting, let me chant. Those are following four regular principles, let me follow. Those are giving classes, let me hear. So we started hearing and we have started following the instructions given by the sadhu. That is called bhajana kriya. Okay, and then we get initiation, uh, and that is the main objective, main stage of bhajana kriya to get to be initiated. Okay. So at the time of initiation, Radharani, the internal potency of Lord Krishna, accept the devotee's service through the medium of Guru and spiritualize his body and senses, making the devotee capable of receiving Krishna's mercy. Thus, ascending service and descending mercy makes a devotee blossom further in Krishna consciousness. Isn't it? Ascending service means we have to engage in the service and the mercy will come flow. We have to get involved in the service and the mercy will come like that. So this is the bhajana kriya. And this bhajana kriya, more we get into the bhajana kriya, we will anartha stage. So chanting Chetudarpana Marjanam. At the first stage, the Chetudarpana Marjanam. And the last stage is Aslishava Padaratang. So at that time, the feelings will come like that. How Radharani was feeling for Krishna. Maybe not like that. That is a Mohabhav, but at least in that footstep we can come. So initially the Chetudarpana Marjanam, that is what with that the Shikashtamam started. So this is the point. So arising from sins, Dushkrita Uttha, Shukritatva. So there are various stages. Prabhupada has not described this category, no need to remember. Just the process need to understand. Main thing is Chetudarpana Marjanam. We need to understand that part. And this Anartha Nivriti is there, Grammo. So we have to stop doing the Prajalpos and other things. Vaishnava Aparadh to be, we have to take as a safeguard from the Vaishnava Aparadh, particularly the Aparadh that we have discussed in Sadhana Bhakti stage. There are mainly two categories of Aparadh. One is Shiva Aparadh, one is Nama Aparadh. We have to safeguard that. And when we are visiting Dhama, the Dhama Aparadhs are there. So we have to be very much alert not to commit any Aparadh because that will choke our journey completely. And then Nishtha, steadiness. We take the vows and we start following the, we keep on chanting, keep the vows. Even though we don't want to, but we keep on chanting keep waking up early in the morning, chanting, doing all the other things. So these things will come at the Nishtha stage. Steady determination, regularly following this thing for years together. So that is the steadiness. So in the Bhagavatam also we read this thing, Nashta Prayasha Avadresha Nittam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavata Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Noishti. By regular attendance in the classes of the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. Almost. So in Nishtha stage, almost destroyed. And all loving service in the person of Godhead who is praised with transcendental song is established as an irrevocable fact. This is Nishtha. Steadiness, we become Nishtha. And this Nishtha stage has been described in many other ways. So main thing is then after the Nishtha, this Ruchi is there, attainment. So one develop constant taste for hearing and chanting. So one will be eager, I want to chant. I love to chant. This kind of aspiration should come at the Ruchi stage when the jaundice of Avidya is cured completely. Okay, we will describe further in Upadeshamrita about this Ruchi state, not elaborating now at this stage. And then the Ashakti, taste for doing bhajana reaches extreme depth of Krishna, becomes his very object of one's devotional service. Ruchi mainly has bhajana, devotional service practice, as its subject, while Ashakti mainly has a Lord, the object of bhajana. So here the difference of Ruchi and Ashakti is described. Ruchi mainly has that I am doing the bhajana, devotional service in general. In the Ashakti stage, specifically, the attraction for Krishna develops. Okay. So, and specifically in Ashakti stage, in a specific mellow also started fructifying. Okay. Not completely blossomed, but it started fructifying. So, further description of attachment is there, and then bhava. Already we have described this. Bhava is there, and the devotee released with the Lord in following rashas. Okay, when Ashakti achieves its utmost maturity, it is called rati or bhava. So bhava's another name is rati, okay? Intense attraction, and then finally the prema, which we have described. So this is how the progression happens. Okay. So here I want to stop. Any question is there? I will share the that discrepancy was highlighted on last classes, that in Bengali and English some discrepancy there in the question set, and I will discuss. The authorities will let you know what is the discrepancy. So this is the journey. Journey is long. Journey is a very exalted journey, but we need to execute the all the limbs of devotional service under the guidance. And if there is any problem, we should contact it. And I would just like to understand what which limbs of sadhana bhakti you would like to improve to come to this position, to have come to, to develop this ashakti, develop this attachment, ecstatic attachment. Which limb you need to appreciate, particularly which limb is helpful. Have you read all the limbs? Because we need to go through all the limbs and have to take up some limbs, and based on the way to work on that limb so that we can develop. It can be any one limb. One limb is sufficient. Multi limbs is also there, like the multi limb, all the limbs of Navavidha Bhakti is there. Savanam Kirtanam. So in that Savanam Kirtanam can be done. And among that 9 particular things, uh, we have to take some activity very seriously. So which one you want to take? Everyone should have some attachment for one particular. I have discussed this thing earlier also. And finally, I want to. This is the concluding class of Nectar of Devotion in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. It does not mean that Nectar of Devotion is ended here. Nectar of Induction is devotion's first one bhag, one part. That is the eastern part is completed now with this chapter. So this is a Bhakti Bheda, different kind of Bhakti has been described. So anyone, any question, anything you want to highlight or want to say?
হরে কৃষ্ণ প্রভুজি।
Yes.
প্রভুজি আপনি বলেছেন মনে মনে করাতে প্রভুপাদের কিছু একটা বলবেন
Sorry.
শিল প্রভুপাদের
Voice
কিছু একটা
খুব
বলবেন
আছে।
লাস্টে আপনি বলেছিলেন।
আমি কি বলেছিলাম?
বলেছিলেন মনে করাতে আপনাকে যে লাস্টে ওটা বলবেন।
নিজে এখন ভুলে যাচ্ছি। হ্যাঁ, আমি মনে করাতে বলেছিলাম। ওটা আমি বলে দিয়েছি, ওই যে ভাবভক্তি স্টেজে ওটা আমি বলে দিয়েছি, মাঝখানে বলে দিয়েছি যে
আচ্ছা
the difference, the name and the Krishna is not different. This is perfectly realized because the Shambhit energy is manifested in Bhava stage. So that is the point. So that is already discussed. So which limb you want to take? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Archanam, Bandhanam, Dashram, Shakham, Atmanivedanam. Which one? This is the main limbs. Other limbs are there. Panchanga Bhakti is there. Which limb? 64 items are there. So something, yes.
কীর্তনমটা সব থেকে আগে মানে আমার আমার পক্ষ থেকে বলছি
Kirtanam.
মানে চ্যান্টিংটা একটু করতে হবে পিউরিফাই
Chanting. Yes, see, yeah, chanting. Chanting is most, because we are giving, আমরা যেটা দেখতে পাচ্ছি যে প্রত্যেকটা ক্ষেত্রেই এই চ্যান্টিং এর কথাটাই বেশি বারবার বলা হচ্ছে সব স্টেজে, যে কোনো স্টেজে। সো চ্যান্টিং ইজ ভেরি ভেরি ইম্পর্টেন্ট, and we need to take at least the study of this Purva Vibhag of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu will be successful if, as a sadhaka, as a practicing devotee, we take up chanting very seriously. Chanting and also reading. See, one thing I can say: read Srila Prabhupada books will help you to develop a sincerity in chanting. Regular reading. This may appear very simple thing, but it is very mystical actually. It is very mystical. Bhakti is actually very mystical, very much. It is not like some other thing. It is very mystical. And it is very simple. So read Prabhupada books, read Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. One page is also okay. Because everywhere Prabhupada is emphasizing about something which may help us in chanting. So chanting is also important. Association of devotees we have to take. And during association we should apply how we are safeguarding ourselves from committing any mistake. Finally, whether our hearts are melting or not, that is to be seen. So like that. Okay, if anybody does not have any question, we can end our class here. It is 5:30 almost. So is that all right? Okay, thank you. I will check with the authority when the next class will be started for the next module, and then I will let you know. Okay. Thank you so much for your
सादर
patience.
प्रणाम
Ma'am, Mataji.
ना बोलो किजो ना बोलो बोलो सादर प्रणाम
Okay, thank you. Okay. Thank you. Hare
हरे
Krishna.
कृष्णा प्रभु जी हरे कृष्णा
Yes.
इफ अगर बाद में भी अगर पढ़ने के बाद अगर कुछ क्वेश्चन अराइज होता है देन
Obviously,
कैन वी
obviously.
आस्क यू पर्सनली
Yes, yes. You can chat. You can write, or you can send a voice message. You can ask.
ओके प्रभु
Okay. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram.
राम राम चलो
श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, गौड़ भक्त वृंदों की जय, श्री रूप गोस्वामी पाद की जय. हरे कृष्णा
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Ram, Hare Ram.
चलो थैंक यू
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु सादर
Thank you.
प्रणाम
Hare Krishna.